How you doing? This is HashGuide from thecryptoist.com, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how you can deploy your own token to the Binance Smart Chain using Solidity programming language. Okay, we're going to create a project in our Node package manager, and then we're going to open it up in Visual Studio Code. We're going to make our contract, and we're going to deploy it to Binance Smart Chain Testnet. Now the same theory goes for the Binance Smart Chain mainnet. You're just going to use a different RPC. I'll show you guys where to get that. But for now, before we begin, please make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. The subscribe button right below. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at HashGuide or at TheCryptoist, and check out the website thecryptoist.com. I have a couple pending articles that I'm going to be uploading within the next week or so. Haven't had much time put into that, but yeah, just make sure you follow and make sure you hit that share button. In the end, leave a comment and thumbs up. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our folder. We're going to initialize our node project and Truffle project, and then we're going to install a couple dependencies, open it up in the IDE, and then we're going to begin writing the code. So you can use npm or yarn. I use yarn. Seems to be easier to manage some packages with this. So yarn init -y. -y just gives it a yes to all the questions it asks about the project name and all that. And then an is to run another command, and truffle init. And yarn node package manager, it's going to give us a node modules folder and a packages.json file. It's going to hold all our dependencies. And truffle init gives us a contracts folder, a test, migrations, and a truffle config file. Alright, as you can see here. And then we got to add a couple dependencies. Yarn add at openzeppin / contracts, and at truffle / hdwallet-provider. And that's all we need to deploy this contract packages. And now we can just open up the current directory and Visual Studio Code. And at the end of this video, I'm going to deploy the contract as ERC20. But at the end of the video, I'm going to show you guys how you quickly change the names of the files and the text within the files, all from the command line. Within 2 commands, you're going to change all. Every time you see ERC, it's going to say BEP. Alright, we're going to do that at the end because I've seen coins on BinanceSmartChain as ERC20 and as BEP20. BEP20 is BinanceSmartChain's version, but I'm going to show you guys how you can do it either way. For now, we're just going to do it as ERC. It's the quickest way to show you guys. The first thing we're going to do is going to truffle config. The new OpenZeppelin uses version 080 SOLC, Sol compiler, and I'm gonna activate up here. You got in the truffle config, we're gonna have to add our 12-word mnemonic phrase as the key to deploy to a live network. If we are deploying to just a JavaScript VM version of Ethereum virtual network machine, then we wouldn't need to do this because it runs your own development network right there on the computer. But for this one, it's a live network, so we're going to need a mnemonic phrase to import our key. Alright, so I have one already saved that I use. So you can see here I got my secret. .secret in Mac OS and Linux. I'm on Linux. That hides the file. It's supposed to be a hidden file. If you do ls-a, you will see it. So truffle config already has the information right here. If you just select it, hold Control, hit K and U, it'll uncomment it and get rid of the inferior key, because we do not need that for the way we're doing it this time. So hdwallet-provider, this is that package. We're just requiring it for this file, and fs is file system. That's just a node module, and mnemonic this is our secret right here. Whatever you name your mnemonic file in your root directory is where you have to put it in right here. And two strings puts into string version, and trim just knocks off all white space and whatnot. Alright, so then we need to come back down here and go to private network. We can uncomment this part right here and change this up. Alright, so this is the whole function right here to include the wallet and the provider, the wallet provider. Network ID for BinanceSmartChain is 56, and we're going to leave it as production true. I mean, I don't know if that's a big deal if we change that or not, but the next thing we need to do is we need to get the Binance Testnet Rpc. I'm just going to write BSC test up here. I'm going to give it a variable. And to get the Rpc, make sure you always grab it from official websites. You can search for BinanceSmartChain docs, or just go to docs.binance.org, and up top go to BSC developers, and if you go click on ecosystem, this is the Binance GitHub. This is the BSC ecosystem. So everything you need to know about BinanceSmartChain you can find on this GitHub page. Just you can find it in the Binance docs. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get some copy your address that you have as your dev address, and the first address in the Mnemonic Phrase. That's going to be the main address that deploys the contracts. So we need to go to the faucet. You enter our address and then give me BNB, and then it'll just take a few seconds to get your BNB, and then you should be all set to start deploying. Go back to the ecosystem and go to Rpc Endpoints. If you go to blockchain details on the docs, and you can take your RPC right there. But these first Rpc endpoints, this is for the BinanceSmartChain mainnet. When you're ready to go production and launch it on the main network, these are the Rpc endpoints that you need for your Truffle config. But we're going to be going to the testnet, so scroll down, and the testnet, you grab one of these Rpcs, and I messed up, it's 97, 56 is the main network. So go back to your Truffle config and import the Rpc right there. Make sure it's in quotes because it's a string, and go back down to the network and change this to 97 because that's the test network ID. Alright, so now that we get the right version, we got the Rpc in there, and we got the right network ID this time. So now we can go and create our contracts file. Alright, so click a new file in contracts and name it the name of your contract. So mine's going to be CryptoList-Token.sol. SOL. We can first start off the file by doing the SPDX license identifier, which after it was one of the last major versions that Truffle requires you to do this. Not Truffle. Solidity. Alright, so that's the first thing you need at the top, and then we can run our pragma statement. And like I said, opens up when uses 080 on this one, and then we can import our ERC20 file. Alright, so once we get that in, we can start writing a contract. It's very quick from now on. And it's we're almost done. And then we gotta write the constructor. And this is where we're gonna write our mint function. And this is where the initial supply is, which it's the total supply, unless you can call the mint function within the contract. What we gotta do here is we gotta multiply what the number we want tokens there is times the decimals. So say we want 1,000,000 tokens, we gotta times it by 10, and then times again by decimals. And that is it. So if you were gonna there's two ways to do these files. You can either put the information for your token right in the contract itself, or you can use the migrations file to enter the information. So if you're working on a bigger project or a file that's going to be used multiple times over, you're better off keeping the constructor with the variable names in there. But for this one, we're just going to enter them right there. It's easier for beginners. So our contract is all done. Save that and then go to migrations, create new file, and name it to_deploy.js. You can name it whatever you want, but they keep the numbers in there for a reason. Numeric. If you need contracts deployed in a certain numerical version, whatever, this is how you do it. So what we need is we need to give our contract constant variable name. And then artifacts require. And that's it for our deployment migration script. I think that should be it. Before you do any deployments, always double check. Make sure you got no errors or anything like that. We got the config done, and got my mnemonic phrase in there. I think we are ready to deploy. So save it, open up your terminal again, and make a note on the Truffle config. We're under private. We can write BSC test right here. Let's change that. So that way when we launch, we can do network BSC test. So Truffle compile. If it compiles no problem, then most likely deploy to the main network, no problem. Some people may need to skip dry run when they run deploy, because if you have a certain version of Node Package Manager, there was a problem where it's not going to allow it to pass. I'll show you guys how to do it. 1 second. Looks like it's compiling the way it should. Alright, it's compiled. Now we're going to deploy it to BinanceSmartChain test network. Alright, so now we do Truffle deploy network BSC test, well, whatever you named this right here. So object. And then for most people, if you haven't ever done dry run, do -- skip dry run. Alright. Let's see if if it's successful. It may not be. I might miss something. It happens when you're developing code all the time. The only thing you can do is keep your fingers crossed while waiting for it. Alright, and if an error does happen, good, I can show you guys how to chase it down. Alright, so see right here, BSC test is not defined. My BSC test. Oh, that's why. See? Typo. BSC test. Alright. Now we should be good. See how the reference error? So once you see that, you should know where to look. Let's try it one more time, people. Remember, while we're waiting, please make sure, help the channel out. Hit that subscribe button and share to a friend, share to a family member. If they're not using crypto today, they will be using it very soon, guys. Even if it's not this video, I have other videos out there showing you guys how to use DeFi platforms, how to earn 100% APR on your investment, guys. All you gotta do is stake it in the pool on PancakeSwap. Check it out, my other video. Alright, I know the market's not doing too well right now, but it's expected. The market can't just go straight up, guys. It's gotta come down and do corrections once in a while. Alright, if you're looking at the screen, you can see right now that it's going through. Let's just wait for the last contracts to go through. And then I'll show you guys how you can add it to Truffle Console and do a couple functions within Truffle Console. And if you hit that subscribe button and you stay tuned, next week I'm going to be doing a crowd sale. A token sale, so you can sell your brand new minted token, alright? And then I don't know if it's going to be in the same video or another video, we're going to be going over a quick React app on how you can sell your token on your very own website, guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. As you can see right here, our token is deployed. So if you want, you can go hit that contract address, alright? Go to bscscan.com or testnet.bsc.com, scan.com, or go up here on the logo and click Testnet, and then search for your contract address, and you can see right here, this is contract creation, crypto is token, cry is the symbol. Alright, if this has helped you any at all, no, I promised you guys I will show you guys how to do something. Alright, so say you want to, the project you're doing has to use BEP20 instead of ERC20. Alright, so as you can see here, if I go into my node modules folder, at open Zeppelin, contracts, token, and as you see here, it's ERC20. So first thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to copy to BEP20. So now, don't forget that recursive. So I have the BEP20 folder, but everything inside of it is still ERC20. And if I go to the file, all the files are going to still be ERC20. So I want to go inside that folder, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to replace all the file names. Everything that has ERC20, it's going to change it to BEP20. So to do this, we can do find be inside the folder you want to change. It's going to go through the folder you're in and every folder in this folder. So it's going to go recursive through every folder in the root folder that you're in. Alright. Exec dash command. Now this is just to include the objects. The output, it's going to be multiple outputs, so this puts it in an object and then this escapes it. after this command, it should change every file and folder in this root directory and recursively from ERC to BEP. Alright, so ls, as you can see here, it's all BEP. Now, inside our files, you can still see everything says ERC. That doesn't help us at all. We're going to get a lot of errors. So now we got to change that too. So now we can use grep and sed. So grep rl. It's a little bit different than the last command, guys. This is Linux. Everything's a little different. It's not exactly sure why it always works, but if it works, it works. You know, don't mess with it. So now if I go back to the other command, I can see here all the BEP, all the ERC is now BEP. Okay, now that I've shown you how you can change every implementation of ERC into BEP in the file names and within the files themselves, we're going to go over one last thing, and that's the Truffle Console. I'm going to show you how you can obtain balances, how to use the functions, and we're going to transfer tokens from one address to another. It's a little confusing inside Web3. We got to do it a couple different ways. One way I'm going to show you, it's just easy. It didn't give many errors. Sometimes you run into an error with working with the big numbers in Ethereum virtual machine. So we want a Truffle Console, and we got to run on the same network that we deploy the contract on. Now it's going to use that mnemonic seed phrase that's in the root folder, so it's going to use the same address that you deployed with. And Truffle gives you a couple different functions that are already working with the console, like accounts. That's going to show you the accounts of the first address, second address, and so on. The first thing we need to do is we need to put our contract in a variable. So constant is a variable that you cannot change. So if you know it's not going to change, you put in constant. CT is my variable name of crypto's token. Equals a wait. You need to use a wait to wait for the promise to come back, and the name of your deployed contract, and then dot deployed, and then the parentheses for function. Alright, and if you just run that right now, basically what it gives you is all information about your contract that you see within the build contracts file of your contract. This is all the information. It's not just the ABI, but say you wanted to get your ABI, you can do it like that, right? ct.abi or whatever, ct.address, that's how you access the information about your contract. Now I'm going to show you the balance, how I obtain the balance in Ether, not in We. We're not going to want to look at 18 extra zeros every time. Alright, so I'm going to create a variable this time just in case I need to change it, and we're going to do ct.balance of accounts. We're going to do the first account. First account starts at 0, and then if we just did this, it's going to give us a big number implementation, which it's not even a number. It's basically like more code that the computer breaks down into a number. So you can either add a wait to the beginning of this and do a toString and get the amount with 18 zeros afterwards, but we don't want that. So I'm going to do a then function and then an arrow function, and we're going to use web3 utils dot from we, and now this is going to give us the amount. I've already messed around with this a little bit because I haven't used it in a while. So now if we write B1, it's going to give us the amount in we have. You can see that decimal point is in the right spot. If, say, I wanted to do ct.balance of accounts, sorry, I'm all over the place. This is how I see some people do it, and yeah, this way it'll give us the balance, but it gives us, you know, all the decimal points afterwards. We don't want that, right? We want to see the full amount. We want to see the decimal point. So now I'm going to show you guys how to transfer it real quick. Like I said, working with JavaScript and the Ethereum virtual machine can get a little confusing. I had to go over it myself, but for now it's going to create an amount variable, and we're going to create a big number, but first I want to get the hex amount of this big number. So web3.utils.toHex, and we need to put it in quotes, and I want to send, let's just say 900,000. But if I just do this, it's not going to send that whole 900,000, so I need to add my 18 zeros after. Or you can just do times 10 times 10, 18. Alright. But for now, just add it in there. And this hex number is what we need to create our amount. So var amount equals web3.utils.2bn So now if we just write amount, you're going to see that the big number implementation, bn.js it uses, looks confusing. You can't really make out what this means, right? But if you do amount to string, you'll see that it gives us the amount. Alright, but now we're going to use transfer, so ct transfer. We're going to send it to the third account. I'll do. So a third account is number 2, and then amount. This should work. Oh, sorry. Accounts. I'm still fairly new. Programming, you know, I've been studying myself for 3 or 4 years now. I just don't do it as my full-time job, so bear with me, guys. So now if I want to check the balance of accounts 2 there you go, 900,000. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let us know in the comments how you liked it. If it helped you at all, I apologize for being all over the place. And make sure you please hit that subscribe button right now. I'm seeing lots of views in my videos, but no one's subscribing to it. If this video, as any of my videos ever helped you at all, or even if it's informational, even if it didn't help you, hit that subscribe button. Help me out, guys. Alright, and then share, thumbs up, and comment. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed.